the biggest thing I learned through all of that is actually how to build relationships with people, because I think that's the biggest asset we have, regardless of our skill set. The biggest asset we have is the people we know and how we communicate with them.
You're listening to the Traffic and Funnels Show.
Starting this off, I really just kind of wanted to go into super basic. What do you do? What does your average day-to-day look like? And maybe even your big weekly 3 things that you do.
That's a good segue into kind of the mindset of how we treat our time and how we treat our expectation of time, especially inside of EW or Traffic and Funnels. For those who are here, there's a lot of the mindset training that Taylor talks about and Chris talks about. So like he said, I'm a marketing wizard. Really the technical term for that is technologist. My job is to create front-end web pages, web design, web development, connect them to CRM tools. So capturing data, but then also making sure the customer journey. So whether you're signing up for a free ebook, whether you're signing up for a free course or a paid course, you're getting everything you need step by step along the process. So making sure anything you pay for or you ask us for, you're going to receive in your inbox, and making sure that's seamless. Looking at fast load times, SEO data, traffic data, making sure all that filters in so we can make better decisions to serve our customers, to serve everyone here in this group, and then to serve more people, because this is a large industry. And my goal personally is just to help people. So that's what my job is. I help multiple departments. While my job is marketing related, I actually work within several branches of our industry and several branches of our company to make sure that everyone has what they need when it comes to the information we're talking about.
Amazing. And so as far as like the nitty-gritty details, without giving away too much information, right? What are some of the things like your average day-to-day? Do you usually work with like email softwares, or how do you integrate certain softwares together to make sure the whole system runs?
Yeah, I can't give away every trade secret that we have. We have a lot of stuff that is proprietary to us, which is wonderful. I love working with proprietary stuff. But the basics of what my day looks like, and really what my week is, I start every morning actually looking at numbers. I download data from the day before. I parse it out. I review that with some of our other staff members, whether it's my director or a media buyer or another tech that we might have, to make sure it's clean data in the day before. And then I look at that data in the course of a 7 to 30 day window. And that helps give us projections for the rest of the week, for the rest of the month, and kind of help guide where we're going. So I look at multiple points of data. So opt-in data, email data. If we sent any emails out the day before, that morning, opt-in data. Am I getting enough tracking information in from customers? Not personal information, anything people share with us, that's great, but where are they coming from specifically? Whether it was a button click on the website or if they came in through a specific ad campaign, making sure all that data is cleaned up for everyone to look at. And then the rest of my day is building out new softwares or building out new solutions. So I'll meet with Dane and Alan, and those guys will create an idea, and we'll run with it and have fun with it. And then so my job is to take the ideation from the top, whoever my director is for the project, and really learn how to integrate it, how to make something real. So an idea to sell a product, say on two-stepping a Facebook group, cool. Well, who do we need in place? A great analogy, if you're a sports fan, is my job is very much like an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator. There's a head coach, there's an owner. They make a lot of the big decisions and where the direction is going to go. The head coach calls the play. But as a coordinator, I need to know what pieces do I need to have in place, what players need to be on the field, what's the specific route of each player, like the integrations of software, where they need to go, how far they need to go, and kind of who needs to swap out at every stage of the 4-down turn. If we're continuing the football, I talked to a guy from Ohio State this morning, so I got football on my mind.
There you go.
So hopefully that does. I mean, usually my big 3 include we try to make them objection or right, not objection based, objective based. There we go. We're not dealing with objections at the moment. So a lot of mine are, my goal is a certain email health, a certain open rate, a certain conversion rate, funnel conversion, so front end page to back end conversion, or even front end conversion. I have my numbers. If something's converting less than 1%, we cut it or we test it. So those are the numbers I'm looking at the most. And those help define what my big items are for the day and for the week. Usually I look week to week, and then I divide up, look at my week. If say my Wednesday is meeting heavy, I'm going to do very simple tasks on Wednesday, but then Tuesday, Thursday, that's kind of how Monday, Wednesday, Friday are kind of meeting heavy days. By meeting heavy, I'm maybe in an hour of meetings, some of them more, but it just depends on what we got going on. But Tuesday, Thursday, I'm headphones in, I'm cranking some music, we're designing some pages, we're building some systems, and that's what my week looks like.
Amazing. Yeah, the beautiful thing about being a freelancer is you pretty much create your own degree. You go out there, you learn different things. I know you're kind of telling me, you're talking a little bit this week about opting in and going through other people's funnels and really just getting a lay of the land as far as how competitors are doing it, and just really understanding the market is really important from a freelancer, right? Because you're providing a service to another company, which is so cool, because that before you needed a degree, you needed to get a job, freelancing wasn't that big of a thing. But now contractors and 1099s and freelancers are creating their own company and really providing these services that are really unique, because there's no job description, there's no degree for especially digital marketing, which a lot of our freelancers are in digital marketing. So I just think it's super cool to hopefully, if some of you are in here and are wanting to be a freelancer, you could just pick up a couple of things from marketing, just learning certain integrations and reading blogs and opting into other people's forms. Could be a great way. So just wanted to give you all some encouragement if you wanted to get over that little hump, to become a freelancer. Phil is doing this. He's working at a company right now, but he's there's always opportunities coming around to also freelance for them as well. So people will reach out to you on social media, things like that. So kind of a nice transition.
You never know where the opportunity is going to come from, but as long as you're maintaining knowledge in the base. Whether one of the key, if you're going to be a web developer or technologist like me, I think one of the key pillars is curiosity. So, the title is we're going to hack somebody through all this, and not illegally. When I mean hack, I mean collect the information about them that they've made public or they've kind of made public. So, for me, I came in through ClickFunnels. That's kind of the software, the books, all that stuff. Everyone knows the names, but I am always looking to see what they're doing. I'm looking to see what big companies like HubSpot, Infusionsoft, what they're doing, even companies not in my direct space. So what is Apple doing? They've got a WWDC next week. What's going to come out next week in software that will affect what I'm doing? Or what are they doing from a pure marketing standpoint that I might want to test with? Because Apple's website is just pure CSS gold if you're into coding. So anyway, continue, Collin. Sorry.
No, you're good. That was a great addition. So as far as freelancing, how long have you been freelancing for? What's kind of your experience there?
So I graduated college. So I have a degree. It's not in technology. It's a design degree in architectural design. So a lot of my high school years into college years, I worked as a draftsman. So I know AutoCAD, I know Revit. I learned softwares fast. I think that's one thing that made me good at all of this stuff. I landed in a marketing role at a tractor dealership, and I've actually, not only them, but I picked up personal clients, and I just started building websites for people. So mostly on WordPress. WordPress is a very low cost of entry if you look at it. If you look at other funnel softwares or other software builders, there seems to be a level of entry point. But WordPress at its core level is a very low entry point. There's templates available. Honestly, there's not a lot of need to really study hard coding unless you're going to that's going to be your focus to code HTML. So I've built a couple of websites for churches, for architects, for an agri-soil company. The guy goes out and actually tests soils for seed companies and farmers, and they just wanted to update their branding. So I'm always looking at their site. I'm actually still maintaining a couple of those sites. So that's kind of how I got into the freelancing space.
Amazing. Yeah, super cool. You can start with one skill, and that skill can follow you forever. Because it's like you're building your roster of your own resume and your own skill set. Where if somebody asks you, "Can you do this?" You're like, "Oh yeah." And then as you start to learn more skills, you can start to upsell and offer more services and just keep them for life. It's really your own personal brand, your own business. I think that's so cool. What was your experience like before freelancing? You said you were doing a little bit of architect stuff. What was that like for you?
Working for an architect was 55, 60 hours a week. I loved it. I loved every minute. I'm a designer. I'm a creative. It was a cool challenge. Got to work on some really cool projects with a family friend who was an architect in North Carolina. And that world is still super curious to me. I spent a month in Europe because of it. I've got a great appreciation for the even in the marketing side. If you look at how buildings were made or how towns were made, look at a town in Italy, for instance, and just look at the structure and the layout, or look at Milan or some towns in Spain. Just look at the grids that are laid out. Look at Paris. There's like a spider web of how things are connected. And there's a reason to the hierarchy of where it are based on the history and time and moments it was created. And the way we connect to technology is very similar. So while we may connect HubSpot to ClickFunnels, we also may have to use Zapier to put something in place. So when you Webflow out and actually diagram it out and building a web page, building a system, it's all very similar in the theology and the philosophy of it. So long hours, working for an architect, loved it, but I also tried getting into the industry during a downturn. So I had to pivot pretty quickly. Graduating college, not a lot of opportunity when I came out in 2011. And so I landed a role as a marketing assistant with a tractor dealership. What this allowed me to do is it allowed me to learn some of the basics of brick and mortar marketing to a very specific clientele, right? I wasn't working marketing for a Target or a Kohl's, or I've got friends who work for both companies and they love it. But I wasn't trying to learn big corporate. I was learning very small town and relational stuff. So the biggest thing I learned through all of that is actually how to build relationships with people, because I think that's the biggest asset we have, regardless of our skill set. The biggest asset we have is the people we know and how we communicate with them. So if we build equity, you build a relationship, you make yourself very valuable to them as a person rather than an employee or a contractor in that case too. So if you make yourself a bit more valuable without giving away trade secrets, without giving away more than what you're paid for. But I think that's the biggest thing I learned working both those industries before just jumping into freelancing and into web technology, which is where I am now.
Amazing. And as you were kind of getting into the tractor industry, because that's so different from, you were doing a little bit of web development, but it's so different. You said you've made the connection now where, architects is similar because of the integrations and everything. But when you were just starting out with website building, I'm sure that transition was scary in some sense, right? Because there's a lot of unknowns. What were kind of your limiting beliefs or going into that, right? Like, what were you thinking going into that transition when you first started?
My first limiting belief was I wasn't worth that much. And that's not accurate. My skill set and what I'm worth to get paid for is not purely based on the needs of the customer. They're actually based on my needs first. So if you look at the pricing model that we have, they're actually based on how much knowledge I have, regardless of industry, how much work I've put into learning that, and then the value of the skill to the person who needs it. So I think I had to get over the fact that I'm worth more than $500 for a website. I'm worth way more than that, I'm sure, if I priced it out now. And I'm worth more than $100 for photo sessions, because I did photography as well on the side, or videos. I'm worth more than $200 for a video because I bring something else to the table. I don't just bring my camera or my laptop to build a website for somebody. I bring a knowledge base of understanding who they are and taking the time to learn who they are and their needs, because they may come to me and say they need a website. Okay, cool. What kind of website? Are you looking just to host your blog and host your articles? Or do you need some page that's like coming straight from Google My Business and saying, I just need a place where people can come and they just call us? Cool. those two types of websites are very different, right? One is very much just a lander, getting to know us, letting the customer choose the journey. And the other one's more along the lines of a funnel. Like, they've come to me for a specific reason. I'm only going to give them one option, and that's the reason they've come. So that's why I love funnels a lot more than lander websites, because you take away the options. You're truly creating a customer journey from start to finish. So
100%.
limiting the belief is, one, I wasn't worth that much, and two, people way smarter than me, which is true. There are people smarter than me in this industry, but that doesn't negate my skill set. That doesn't negate me as a person. I can still reach up to that level. It may take time. Yeah, and that's okay.
How did you? What was the catalyst for you? If you could pinpoint it down, it's probably hard to pinpoint down looking back, but what was the catalyst which helped you start to charge more and start to realize, like, no, I actually am valuable? Was it researching more, or what kind of helped you with that?
I'm going to be very blunt. It's going to be very real. It's my family, right? Money is fine. Like, I don't need money. I don't need money, a lot of money. What I need is actual time. So, and I need time with my family. I have a 3-year-old at home. I've got a wife who has medical concerns. So what I value the most is my time. So if I divide up my day, if I divide up my week, if I divide up my month, even my years, how much time am I willing to give out to somebody else, and how much is that worth to me? So that was my hurdle. Making sure that I was priced and valued at the right time to allow me to spend time at home and spend time away from my computer, away from Slack, away from Facebook, away from all the other messaging, Telegram. Like, I don't answer messages after, I don't answer all messages, but I don't answer client messages after 9:30. I may answer text messages because friends and stuff like that, we all communicate differently, but specific client stuff, I try not to answer after a certain time every day. And then I take time off. I make sure that that phone is put down, or that do not disturb is on, and I take time off, because that makes my time more valuable, and therefore I can put a better price on it.
So good. That's so good. And I feel like that a lot of people can relate with that. I know I can. You said earlier about putting in more work and, understanding the client, which is good at first, right? You got to understand the client, ask them what they need, and provide as much value as you can in that way, right? Actual sweat equity. But when it comes to financial equity and figuring out what you need to pay, like, you first, right? Because if you're the freelancer and you're the one giving the value, you value yourself. So it's really not the client. When you value yourself and, say how much is my time worth, and you're actually building your product up that way, you're actually helping the client more, because when you serve yourself, you can serve the client way better. So I think a lot of people can relate with that, just making sure that you know how to, value yourself and make sure, your time is protected, because you can serve really at the best of your level in that way. So great point there. When it comes to the reason, I guess you kind of answered it there. The reason you started freelancing was the time, right? That's the big reason why you were working 60 hours a week and you're like, man, I need more time with my family. Is that the reason you kind of got into it?
That's it right there. I think, especially in the last 2 years with everything going on, I think we've all learned the value of time with family, and how we don't need to be spending 40 to 60 hours on something that's not ours, something we don't own, or something we don't control. You can still work for great companies. I've worked for amazing companies, and I truly believe in their vision and their passion. But at the end of the day, I'm still a W-2 employee or a 1099 contractor. My name is not on the final paycheck. They pay me for something. So are they getting too much out of me? So are they paying less for my time actually? So am I working more than I'm getting paid for? Or, do I need to take the opportunity, which is kind of what I've been doing, is how much do I actually control? If I control more of what I'm producing, then I'm in control. Life is all about controlling what you can, but not taking advantage of anything at the same time.
100%. Yeah, it's a very important dichotomy, but it's a very tough one. It's simple, right? You just got to balance, but man, is it hard, and it takes a lot of time to master. So I can tell you've put a lot of time and energy into mastering that because of how high of a priority it is for you. A lot of people just kind of go through the motions, but really asking yourself the question of what is important to you and allocating your time into those areas and prioritizing that is going to do so much for you. It's done so much in my life. I know it's done a lot in your life. So definitely a great point there. Very grateful for Phil's time, and thank you so much, Phil, for hopping on and just giving the value to this group and providing your time to do this.
Absolutely,
it's amazing.
Absolutely. I mean, I think something that I'm going to leave with gratitude, man. You've just created this opportunity to learn, and you're in a great position to help others see what's possible through the connections that you have, both in the TF universe and outside of it. So thank you for everything you're doing for this group, and great things to come, man. This group is going to be on fire. So looking forward to watching it.
I'm stoked.